thunder of jets in an open sky, a streak of gray, and a cheerful...
A loop, a whirl, and a vertical climb, and once again you'll know it's time for the adventures of Rocky and Bullwinkle and friends.
Starring that supersonic speedster, Rocket J. Squirrel, with his pal Bullwinkle the Moose, and a host of others.
Hurry, Bullwinkle! The show's about to start!
I'm coming as fast as I can.
Wave to the people!
Yay!
Now what are you doing?
Signing autographs. Let's see. John Smith.
But your name is Bullwinkle.
I know, but that's hard to spell.
We're gonna have a lot of fun. Come on and join us.
Sure, there's always room for one more.
Well, it looks as if that crafty spy, Boris Badenoff, is one up on our heroes, for he has managed to steal Bullwinkle from the Moon Men and has taken him to his lonely house on the hill, where the Moose is putting his massive intellect to work on rediscovering his secret rocket fuel. All he's been able to make so far is a batch of chocolate pandauti, but its aroma caught the attention of his pal, Rocky. Rocky set out to find Bullwinkle, and for a while it seemed that Boris was actually helping him. But at the last minute, Rocky found that the signs had led him straight into a trap. For a while, Rocky was certainly going downhill fast, but a few seconds later, he was really going up in the world.
Farewell, you miserable rodent. Happy landings, right in middle of ocean.
And while the balloon took Rocky far out over the ocean, the unsuspecting Bullwinkle was still experimenting, only this time with real chemicals. And as Boris approached the lab...
You know, I think I had it for a second there.
Splendid. Now, would you mind getting off my neck and back to work?
I must be working him too hard. He looks pooped.
But two famous scientists like Rocky and Bullwinkle couldn't disappear without somebody wondering what had happened, and it soon appeared that everybody did.
Read all about it! Bullwinkle disappears!
All police stations were notified.
This scientist has the following distinguishing marks: a small mole on his left shoulder blade, also a 6-foot pair of antlers.
The hunt for the missing moose went on in every state in the Union except one. When asked why, the governor replied,
"'Cause it ain't moose hunting season yet."
But in most places, the search went on doggedly, and probably the most eager searchers were the two Moon Men. Gidney and Cloyd wanted Bullwinkle as entertainment chairman of a party in their honor. Their methods were very simple. They just went from door to door where their appearance met with varying results.
I don't want any magazines, but I'd sure like to know what college you're working your way through.
Good heavens, is it trick-or-treat night already?
No brushes today, thanks.
It's not a brush, it's a mustache.
Hey, Mabel, looks like some more of your relatives again.
This isn't getting us anywhere, Gidley. Just one more house, Cloyd.
And Gidney's diligence was rewarded. That one more house belonged to Boris Badenoff.
Zounds, it's those lunar loonies. They mustn't see me.
This is the last one, Gidney. My pods are killing me.
Down here, they call them feet.
Do you think we'll ever get to go to our party?
Oh, sure, I'll bet that Bullwinkle chap is getting things ready right now.
Party, eh? Natasha, come here quickly.
And a few moments later, Boris flung his door wide open.
Surprise, surprise, come in, come in. We thought you'd never get here.
Welcome to Earth, darlings, and many happy returns.
Cloyd, it's a surprise party.
Surprised me, all right.
Here are the paper hats.
And the noisemakers.
Delightful. Nothing like noisemakers to pep up a party.
But those noisemakers were more deadly than delightful, for Bullwinkle's lab was in the room just overhead.
Must be fixing the street. Doggone, they don't make test tubes like they used to.
Now, you just make yourselves at home while I make the punch. It's my own recipe.
Is it good?
Good. He's knockout.
And while Boris prepared a lethal potion for the Moon Men, the balloon carrying Rocky was in a terrible storm out over the Atlantic. Suddenly, there was a searing bolt of lightning, an explosion, and the shattered balloon basket plummeted toward the angry ocean 10,000 feet below. Don't miss our next exciting episode of The Submarine Squirrel or 20,000 Leagues Beneath the Sea.
And now...
Hey, Rocky, watch me pull a rabbit out of my hat.
Again?
Nothing up my sleeve. Presto! Ooh, don't know my own strength.
Now here's something we hope you'll really like.
A long, long time ago, more than a year in fact, a little girl lived with her mother in a little house on the edge of a deep wood. It was a pretty house, and she was a pretty girl. Her name was Twissenelda Woofenpickle. But she had such lovely golden curls that everybody called her Goldilocks, which you must admit was just as well. Now, Goldilocks had just one bad fault. She was very careless, especially with things that belonged to other people. Children who let her play with their toys always wished that they hadn't. One day, Goldilocks decided to take a walk into the deep woods. It was going to be a long walk, so she packed a lunch and borrowed her father's compass to show her the way. And off she went. Well, about 2 sandwiches, a banana, and 4 prunes later, she decided to start back. But the compass now acted very strangely. She started toward what she thought was home, but the first thing you know, she was walking in circles. Only she didn't know it.
Look, footprints. If I follow them, I'm bound to get out of these woods eventually.
So Goldilocks wearily trudged round and round in the same old circle for hours. Then, alone and scared, she covered herself with a cloak. Well, almost. And shivered her way through the long, cold night. Now, just a little way from where she lay stood an odd-looking house. The home of the Bear family, Papa, Mama, and little Oswald.
Breakfast is ready.
Looks good.
Oh! Oswald, stop shouting.
That wasn't me. It was Pop.
Why, Bruce Bear.
Hot.
What?
Not what? Hot is hot.
It's supposed to be hot.
Not that doggone hot.
Oh, all right. Why don't we take a little walk until it cools off a bit?
So the 3 bears set out on their walk, leaving their breakfast on the table. Meanwhile, back at the old oak tree, Goldilocks suddenly woke to a wonderful smell of hot porridge. She followed the smell right to the cottage. There was nobody home, but a little thing like that didn't bother Goldilocks.
Oh, joy, breakfast. Oh, that's too hot. I'll put some milk on this one. Oh, Pa, that makes it too cold. This one looks just right.
And it tasted just right, too, clear to the bottom of the bowl. Then, because she hadn't had much sleep the night before, Goldilocks began to feel tired.
Oh, these chairs look good. Oh, dear, this one's much too high. And this one's much too low. But this one is just right.
So Goldilocks rocked and rocked in Oswald's tiny chair until one time she rocked just a little too far. But Goldilocks didn't care. After all, it wasn't her chair. Still, she needed a place to rest, so upstairs she went to lie down in one of the beds. Papa's bed looked pretty inviting, but it was too hard. While Mama's bed was much too soft, but little Oswald's bed was, well, you guessed it, just right. So Goldilocks quickly dropped off to sleep just as the bears returned from their walk.
I thought I told you to close the door, Oswald.
I did.
Perhaps somebody's been here while we were gone.
Oh? Anybody here? Oh, what the ding-dong! Somebody's been eating my porridge!
Somebody's been eating my porridge.
Somebody's been eating my porridge and didn't leave spoon one.
Look in the other room, Bruce.
Somebody's been rocking in my chair.
Somebody's been rocking in my chair.
Somebody's been rocking in my chair, and were they ever heavy?
Bruce, someone's upstairs.
Careful now. There may be trouble. Somebody's been sleeping in my bed.
Somebody's been sleeping in my bed.
Somebody's been sleeping in my bed, and here she is.
Oh!
Things got pretty frantic then. Until Goldilocks dashed out of the house and ran all the way home.
Now, Bruce, she's only a people. She doesn't know any better.
And I'll bet she sure learned a good lesson.
Well, that was true. From that time on, Goldilocks was as careful as could be of everybody's things, even her own. So, of course, she lived happily ever after. And after a little house cleaning and mending, so did the three bears.
Eeny, meeny, chilly, beany. The spirits are about to speak.
Are they friendly spirits?
Friendly? Just listen.
And now for our moment of culture, here's Bullwinkle's Corner.
Hello there. The name of today's poem is, Where Go the Boats? Dark brown is the river, golden is the sand. It flows along forever with trees on either hand. Green leaves a-floating, castles on the foam. Boats of mine a-boating, where will all come home? On goes the river, down past the mill. Away down the valley, away down the hill. Green leaves a-floating, castles of the foam. Boats of mine a-boating, where will all come home? Away down the river, 100 miles or more. Other little children shall bring my boats ashore.
Out goes the bad air, in comes the good.
Green leaves a-floating, castles on the foam. Boats of mine a-boating, where will all come home?
Hello, Peabody here. I believe that every dog should have a boy. That's why I adopted Sherman.
Shall I set the wayback controls, Mr. Peabody?
Yes, Sherman, you may set the wayback machine for the year 1875.
And the place?
Dodge City. Specifically, the marshal's office. For today, we visit that legendary lawman, Wyatt Earp. In no time at all, Sherman and I were standing before Marshal Earp. His actions rather surprised us.
You the fellas with the tiddlywink set? Set it right down there on the table till I finish my sword fighting. On guard there, you varmint.
Excuse us, Marshal, but you're mistaking us for someone else.
You didn't bring no tiddlywinks?
I'm afraid not.
Well, then you must have brung a deck of cards.
No, sir, we didn't bring any cards either.
Obviously, you're quite busy, Marshal, but could you take a moment to explain why you're...
Why I'm fencing and going in for tiddlywinks and card games?
Precisely.
Well, I gotta get ready to capture Ace's Wild, the worst doggone bank robbery in Kansas.
You mean you're gonna fight him with a sword?
I'll fight him, challenge him at a game of tiddlywinks, or even go fish. But I'm gonna beat him and bring him in.
Has the possibility occurred to you that he may wish to fight you with a gun?
Well, if he does, then old Wyatt's going to Boot Hill.
Don't you have a gun?
I got part of one. You see, after every gunfight, I always had a habit of carving a notch on my gun handle. I had so many fights, I don't have a handle left. See? Every time I draw, I don't have nothing to grab on to.
Why not buy another gun? Or at least a handle?
Ain't none around. Them things are scarce out here. You fellas ain't got a gun you can lend me, have you?
I'm afraid not.
Well, if an aces don't want to play go fish, I guess I'm a goner.
Suddenly, the door opened.
Marshal, come quick. It's Aces Wild. He just left the bank.
Did he make a withdrawal or a deposit?
A withdrawal. Took every darn cent there was.
Well, this calls for a showdown. Follow me.
And follow him we did. That is, until he misjudged his footing and...
Please.
He's out cold, Mr. Peabody.
It's just as well, Sherman.
Yeah, but who's gonna fight Aces Wild?
Belly up to the bar, boys. The drinks is on me.
Well, you better vamoose pronto. Marshal Earp's sure shooting going to come looking for you.
You know what I got for him? A bullet with his name on it.
Look out, Aces. Sounds like the marshals are coming.
Come on in, Marshal. And come on in a-fightin'.
I assume you're Aces Wild?
I be he. Who be ye?
I be Peabody. This is Sherman.
Hi, Mr. Wild.
Where's the Marshal?
He's indisposed. So I've come to take you in.
That's downright funny, that is. Why, I'm the best shot in the West.
I doubt that.
Oh, you do you? Well, get a load of this.
Adequate, but hardly extraordinary.
I suppose you could do the same.
Yes, and without the use of firearms. Hold a glass, please.
How's this?
Fine. So saying, I went to the piano, selected E above high C, and...
Well, I'll be dogged. All right, Mr. Smarty. Let's see you outdraw me. On the count of 3, grab your gun.
But you don't have a gun, Mr. Peabody.
I don't need one, Sherman. Now, if you'll be so kind as to hand me that tray. Good boy. Now stand aside.
You ready yet?
I will be as soon as you move directly beneath that chandelier.
What for I gotta stand there?
You'll see.
Well, I guess it don't matter where I stand. What matters is where you fall. 1, 2, 3.
You did it, Mr. Peabody. You beat him.
Of course.
Without firing a shot.
Naturally. And so, after escorting Aces to a jail cell, we said goodbye to Marshal Earp.
Thanks again, Mr. Peabody. You too, Sherman. Adios.
Golly, it sure is puzzling.
What is, Sherman?
Well, how Wyatt Earp got the reputation for being the fastest draw in the West.
Oh, not so puzzling. Wyatt Earp was also an artist, you see, and he really did draw faster than anyone.
Today's lesson is mighty important, remember?
Bullwinkle is a...
Not that lesson. This lesson.
Last time you remember, Boris Badenov had captured Rocky and set him adrift in a balloon. The balloon was struck by lightning and plummeted down toward the ocean thousands of feet below. As the balloon fell, the plucky squirrel managed to work his way out of the basket and, spreading his arms and legs, began to glide toward the distant shore miles away.
Boy, I hope I can stretch my glide that far.
Unfortunately, at that moment, Rocky was being picked up by the radar antennas of the Air Defense Headquarters.
General Broadbeam, sir, we've spotted a flying object headed straight for us.
What kind of object?
Well, sir, it appears to be a squirrel.
A what?
Yes, sir.
Probably a secret missile we don't know about. Well, we can't take chances. Shoot it down.
And within seconds, huge batteries of weapons were leveled at Rocky and commenced fire.
Holy smoke! They think I'm an enemy. Hey! Cut it out! I'm friendly! Look! I'm smiling! Oh, if there were just some way I could tell them who I am.
Then the brainy squirrel got an idea and began to fly in a special pattern.
Look, General, the object is spelling something out.
Sure enough, the wily Rocky was using the smoke from the ack-ack burst to spell out letters, a kind of polka dot skywriting.
What's it say, General?
U.S. Cease firing! Don't harm a hair of his head. That is a U.S. taxpayer. We need every one of them we can get.
So Rocky continued gliding toward the shore, this time with an honor escort of jet planes. Meanwhile, at Boris's house, the spy was pretending to throw a party in honor of the Moon Men, complete with paper hats and noisemakers, while Bullwinkle worked in the room above.
mind if I join you?
In a corner of the room, Boris, who was really anxious to get rid of the Moon Men, was mixing up a bucket full of Mickey Fins.
Oh, goody. Punch.
Boris, if Moose ever drinks that, he will be asleep for weeks.
And we won't get formula from him.
Well, here's looking up your ancestors.
At that moment, Rocky and his escort were flying just a few hundred feet above the house.
I can make it now, fellas. Thanks a lot.
And the Squirrel headed down for Boris's hideout.
Wait, a toast.
Oh, sure.
Gentlemen, the Queen.
You said it.
No. Now we must break glasses.
But we ain't drunk the toast yet.
In my country, you break glasses before you drink toast.
Well, if you say so. But people must get pretty thirsty where you live. Now, I'd like to give a toast.
Of course.
Well, here's the crime.
To crime?
Of course, that was a toast that Boris and Natasha had to drink. The results were immediate.
Hey, she's gone to sleep.
You fellas don't feel sleepy?
Nope.
Not even little bitsy bit?
Nope. That punch sort of peps you up.
Nighty-night.
And Boris joined Natasha in deep slumber.
Party droopers.
At that moment, Rocky appeared at the open window.
Bullwinkle, there you are.
Where else? Hiya, Rocky.
Come on, we gotta go back. Everybody's looking for you.
Oh, that's nice of them. Okay, let's go.
Come on, Moon Man.
Our friends started back, but just as they left the house, heavy hands fell on their shoulders and a very official voice boomed.
You are under arrest by order of the United States government.
Our heroes under arrest? Whatever for? Be sure to see our next episode, The Bars and Stripes Forever.
Well, it looks as if our time is just about run out.
Just enough left to tell him who the sponsor was.
You got the credits, Bullwinkle?
All on this itty-bitty card. Oop.
We're late again, Bullwinkle.
Right.
Bye now. See you next time.